So this is the way that we want to present many of our pharmaceutical research. Okay. Now, before I end, it is essential today. Take-home message is three. One is ministries and agencies need to work well together. Top down, we need help. Okay. Number two, you need to afford high priority to facilitate. What is the need of industry players? What are the problems they're facing? How do we settle that? So this is where we always look at tripartite collaboration: government, universities, and industry. So universities where research is there, where the brain is there. So these three needs to come together. Okay. The third one is district pharmacies weak, but our clinical pharmacy is one of the best in Asia. All right. So because of that, this is where things cross-link. You need to help each other. Right? How do you benefit? Win-win situation in where areas that we are looking. Okay. So with this, thank you very much. So this is my women's health research team. So I have a mixture of men and women on my women's health research team. Okay, and so this is also my faculty's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, thank you very much again to Alo for the kind invitation and to the entire organizing committee. I think I want to congratulate.
हेलो एवरीवन, आप सभी देख सकते हैं इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस यूनाइटेड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ फार्मेसी कॉलेज में ऑर्गेनाइज की गई है, जिसमें सभी फार्मासिस्ट आपको लाइव दिख रहे होंगे। ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस वीडियो को शेयर कर दीजिए।
Good morning, ma'am. It's a very nice lecture, and really it is energetic to students also and for learning throughout the lecture. I clearly congratulate you to discuss all the things related to the India and Malaysia. One question from the students or from our audience basically. How we interrelate with this phytopharmacology or phytochemistry to pharmacology in clinical.
Meaning, Prof, if I understand your question correctly, how do we extend the work to clinical, is it?
Basically, one we are working through phytochemistry, drugs and herbal drugs and that. But it is not the patient.
Right.
Generally, the doctors allow us to only the basically the modern medicine. So we are lacking behind because we know each and everything, the good herbs, good phytochemical drugs, but they are not. We are not reaching to the prescribers, and that's why we are lacking there.
Yes.
How you started at Malaysia clinical practice with the herbal medicine? Why India is lacking?
Thank you, Prof. Okay, now the first thing that we need to do in this is knowledge. Okay. Firstly, in order for the physicians to accept herbal medicine or to input that into their practice, allow the patient to explore integration. Knowledge is very important, and whose knowledge? The pharmacist's knowledge. All right. So, as medication expert, International Pharmaceutical Federation has already coined you as a medication expert. So, as a medication expert, medication in this jargon does not only include drugs. It includes herbs, vitamins, because you need to know all of this in order for you to know the interaction. Am I right? If you do not know how, you cannot only know drugs and look at interaction. No. The human body is very vast. When we are at home, we eat. We take vitamins, we take herbs. In Chinese medicine, teas and herbs. So you need to be well equipped up here. Now, whatever we give you in the faculty is foundation. I always tell my student, what you learn in the university, if you're going to build a house, you have foundation, right? What you have in university is this foundation. You don't stop here. In order for you to have a beautiful house, you need to have the scaffolding, you need to build. That building is your continuous education. You always need to get yourself updated. You leave practice or you leave the pharmaceutical arena for 1 month and you're already outdated. So firstly is knowledge. Second, I always tell is communication skill. It's absolutely important. If we do not know how to communicate with people, we will not be able to convince patient number one, we cannot convince prescribers. So that communication is something like, I think Prof. Alok and myself have the same problem with Gen Z. You guys are all Gen Z, generation. We have baby boomers, millennials, XYZ. Gen Zs have a problem. Fantastic with mobile IT, but very, very poor with communication. Agree, Prof? Yes. So you have the pros and you have the cons. So you really need to uplift your cons here. Communicate, learn. Now, when you have these two, in the hospital, for example, with knowledge and proper communication, you can actually discuss firstly with your stakeholder. Number one is the patient. Alright? So when a patient comes in, let's say with diabetes and has prescription medicine, you need to tell a pharmacist's job is not just dispensing. That one even a machine can do. Now you have artificial technology, you have AI, you have automation. So in Malaysia as well as Taiwan, in Singapore, we have machines doing dispensing for us. Pack everything. Pharmacists, that's not our job. That is part of the job. Machines can do it for you now. What we are there for is for knowledge. Alright, so when you consultation, counseling patient is the number one priority. How do you counsel patient? In diabetes, look at their lifestyle. What do they eat, for example? How is their eating pattern? Do they exercise? What else? Are they taking any herbs? What is their movement like? What is their glucose control? Are they doing self-blood glucose monitoring at home? This is where the pharmacist comes in. Self-blood glucose, SMBG, is not just buying the kit. You put in your blood drop and you check and that's it, this is your level. No. SMBG analysis for patient is very big. You can give a lecture itself on that. How you, whether it is fasting blood glucose, 2 hours postprandial, random blood glucose, what does it mean? If fasting is high, but your 2 hours post-meal is not high, what does it mean? It reflects on the liver capacity. But if it is the other way around, what does it mean? It reflects on the insulin sensitivity. So it's very big. So as pharmacists, first we need to know this. Okay? So that's when you need to
आप सभी फटाफट इस वीडियो को जितने भी फार्मेसी के ग्रुप हैं उनमें शेयर कर दीजिए ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा.
Then you can suggest. Okay? Then that is patient. Then when the physician, as pharmacists in the hospital, what we do is we have a lot of continuous education. We conduct this for the physicians. Alright? See, sometimes physicians' first mentality, not all, some, is you don't know your stuff. But I have to admit a lot of pharmacists also behave that way. You may know up here, but you don't communicate. So physicians think you do not know. When they think you do not know, they do not listen to you. So you need to put yourself out there. This is my knowledge which you don't have. Now, like it or not, pharmacology, pharmacokinetics, pharmacodynamics, you learn for entire 4 years curriculum, or 4 or 5 years. Do you know how much medical doctors learn? Can anybody tell me? Because I teach medical students this. Do you know how long? Not more than 6 months. Maximum, some universities will teach for only 1 year, cumulative over the 5 years. So can you compare the knowledge level in kinetics and dynamics of drug of what you learn in 4 years compared to what they learn in 1 year? Who's the medication expert here? Pharmacists. Doctors are diagnostic experts. That is not our area. That is their expertise. Alright? So everyone needs to do what they're good at. The moment you interact and you put your nose elsewhere, patient will suffer. Correct? But in order to create that environment in the hospital between patient, prescriber, and pharmacist, communication. So specialists or doctors need to know your stuff. So always be outright, increase this, and be spoken. For example, in Malaysia, in the hospital, when we have grand ward round, the specialists will go on every day, okay? So in that round, we have pharmacists, we have nurses, we have physiotherapists, dietitian, and MOs going around. So at that time, when it comes to medication, the specialist will say, what do you think? You ask the pharmacist. So you pharmacist, blah, 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 you don't know what you're answering. What is the impression you're giving the doctors? This person doesn't know anything. Alright? So you as pharmacist go to the ward, get to know the chart, and you know what to recommend. So when we recommend, immediately the specialist, okay, what do you think about this? Should I change this a bit? Yeah, you should change this. Why? Give some evidence. Same thing for phytopharmaceutical, herbal medicine. Doctor, I think we could, okay, you have evidence, you support the evidence. Now the third point is, when we do all of this, if a particular herbal medicine doesn't have evidence, you can't do anything. right? That is why this is where researchers come in. We need to hype up the evidence base on this traditional medicine. So when all these three come together, then you have a cohesive environment where we can actually do integrative medicine. In United States, most of the pharmacies have already bring in the medication part, in Australia as well. So they are really moving forward to integrative medicine, whereby traditional and conventional is joined together. In Malaysia, unfortunately, the government set up a unit called Integrative Medication Unit, but it didn't kick off because a lot of stakeholders didn't come together, they didn't work together, no teamwork. Alright, so I think in India, now that you have your global center of traditional medicine, fantastic opportunity to bring this together. Alright, and now I'm happy to see Dr. Dipindra talk about changes in the curriculum and the way he's talking how pharmacy should move is so inspiring to see. You guys really need to put yourself out there because you know, India is world's top pharmaceutical manufacturer, top generic manufacturer. Up to before COVID, you were still getting raw material from China because they were raw material top in the world. Now you've already taken that, so you are perfect position to move this ahead. And countries like us, Indonesia, Thailand, and us, if you guys are strong in that, we will definitely collaborate with you because we can't do much. We can do something, but we have areas like we say our clinical pharmacy is very strong. Alright, so we can give you input and how you can start a TDM unit, how you can start an integrative medicine unit, all that we can do. But if you get this done, you really move the entire Asian region forward. Thanks, bro.
Quite nicely explained about traditional medicine, the pros and cons, each and everything, pros and cons of the pharmaceuticals.
Alright, okay.
So nicely explained each and everything, Prof. Thank you so much. I'm sure this lecture is helpful for all of us. Thank you so much.
जितने भी फार्मेसी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, सभी फार्मेसी के जितने भी आपके स्टडीज़ के ग्रुप हैं, सभी ग्रुप्स में इस वीडियो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कर दीजिए। ये इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस अरेंज की जा रही है जो कि यूनाइटेड इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ फार्मेसी के अंतर्गत आप देख सकते हैं। आप लाइव आपको दिखा रहा हूँ, तो आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस वीडियो को ज़रूर शेयर कर दीजिए।
Pharmacy curriculum that you have done at your end and you are good at it, so that we can also have a very good edge of clinical practice in our students.
Right. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. So again, back to what Dr. Dipindra shared yesterday. Like I said, in India, the curriculum is very much industry-based, and that's why you're able to generate all those fantastic industrial pharmacies. In Malaysia, we even use your industrial pharmacies in our pharma, all right, because you're very good. But clinical is not there because your curriculum is very industry-based. There is no very, very, very minimal clinical aspect there. But what we do in our curriculum is we become like jack of all trades, you know. So we have 4 years program. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4. We start off in the program by having chemistry input. We have pharmacology, we have industry, and clinical from Year 1 itself. So we do what we call integrated stages. So we start off with lower level learning topics, and then we move on the difficulty level as you go to Year 2, Year 3, and Year 4. For example, we take let's say we take gastro system. Okay. So initially in Year 1, there's a physiology and anatomy of gastro is already shared to them in Year 1. Alright? And then moving on to Year 2, we kickstart by putting in pharmaceutical care in Year 1. We have an integrated system whereby we look at what is the drugs used in gastro. Okay? What is the physiology of gastro system itself? What is the chemistry of the drugs used in gastro itself? And what is the pharmacology of the drugs used in gastro, and then we move on to the clinical part. What
आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है, आपके किसी भी तरीके में कोई डाउट्स या किसी भी तरीके की क्वारीज हो तो आप मुझे कमेंट्स करते रहिए इस वीडियो में। मैं यहाँ के हर एक डाउट सारी क्वारीज का रिप्लाई करूँगा और आप सभी ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लाइव जुड़ जाइए फटाफट। और इस वीडियो को जितने भी आपके स्टडी से रिलेटेड ग्रुप हैं, जितने भी फार्मेसी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, सभी तक इस वीडियो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कर दीजिए। मैं इलाहाबाद प्रयागराज से जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, लाइव आपको दिखा रहा हूँ सारी चीज़ें। आप इस वीडियो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कर दीजिए।
fantastic clinical pharmacists. Our hospitals are in a single hospital, we can easily have 12 to different clinical pharmacy specialization run by pharmacists. So our biggest hospital in Malaysia is called Kuala Lumpur Hospital. In the old days, we have 300 pharmacists working in one. So all that area, all right? So, but we have come to a point where we don't have industrial pharmacists now because our curriculum is very much clinical, correct? So now what we have decided, very similar to what PCI is doing in India, we are looking into specialization. It's also what International Pharmaceutical Federation is looking at. So we have 4 years of pharmacy program as it is, and then we're looking at the 5th year and 6th year where we're putting the pharmacists to do specialization, either in industry or clinical. So with this, we are producing specialized pharmacists like UK, US, alright, because in Asia, the specialization factor of pharmacists is very good. Alright, so we want to go towards that. Hope it answers your question.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving such an informative speech. Now, I cordially invite Dr. Shraddhanjali Singh, ma'am, Organizing Secretary, IPS BBCP 2024, to please come on the stage to offer
आप सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा इस वीडियो को शेयर कर दीजिए। आप इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को लाइव देख रहे हैं, आप देख लीजिए यहाँ पे प्रोफेसर जो हैं इसको जो ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया गया है उनको सम्मानित किया जा रहा है पुरस्कार देकर, आप लाइव देख सकते हैं। और इस वीडियो को जितने भी स्टडी से ग्रुप हैं, जो स्टूडेंट सोचते हैं कि इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस में मुझे क्या मिलेगा, मैं क्या करूँगा जाकर वहाँ, तो आप यहाँ से लाइव देख सकते हैं सारी चीज़ें। और यहाँ देख सकते हैं किस तरीके फ्रेंड्स काफ़ी दूर दूर तक उत्तर प्रदेश के हर ज़िले से, भारत के हर कोने से